Welcome to the National Sports Report. A special hello to everyone who just watched the Lakers wrap up the Western Conference semis by knocking off the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Frazier, Jeannie Zelasco here. We're your tour guides, and we've got plenty to show you. And we will get to the hardwood in just a moment, but first, the Hard Knock Life. They boost Santa Claus in the city of brotherly love. The Empire strikes back with snowballs in New York. Wait until you see what happened in these so-called friendly confines of Wrigley Field. Buckle up. The Dodgers and the Cubs and Todd Hundley's wife Tiffany renting out the third floor of a building beyond the outfield wall to watch hubby do this, top 8, and put the Dodgers out in front. It was also good, Tiffany, you were hanging out there for security reasons, because Kevin Kennedy, it got ugly, bottom 9.
No doubt about it. We're seeing security run down to the bullpen. That's the Dodger bullpen. Some of the Dodgers are up in the stands. You've got Chad Kreuter right there arguing with the fan. He put a little chokehold, not a little chokehold, a big-time chokehold right there. Serious altercations going on. Rick Dempsey's up there. FP Santangelo comes over the top. He's throwing punches right there. Chan Ho Park. Every Dodger is over there right now. The fans actually started this and created some problems by leaning over and actually hitting Chad Kreuter in the back of the head and taking his hat. That's what started the altercation, Jeannie.
And a couple of Dodgers running into the stands to try to get that ball cap back. Probably not the best idea. Allegedly, another fan threw a punch while they were in there trying to find a baseball cap, but instead they got doused with more beer.
No doubt. You see a lot of the fans right there. They're definitely intoxicated. That's not a good situation. Don Baylor, Davey Johnson discussing what went on right there. Davey goes over there, and he said beer was thrown in his face as well. It's just an ugly, ugly situation tonight in Wrigley.
And that bullpen area is just a little chest-high wall, so the fans have free access. Oh, yeah, by the way, the game did finish after the 9-minute delay for the brawl. 6-5. The Dodgers were winners, but nobody really won on a Tuesday night.
One of my players in the bullpen, while we were sitting there, got hit in the back of the head, and then his hat was robbed, and they took off, and my guys went after the hat to try to retrieve the hat, and then while they were going, there were some other guys very abusive and pushed some of my guys, and that's what started it.
Fans probably threw something, from what I understand, at some guys there in the bullpen. And that's one of those, you can't do it. You just can't go in the stands. I don't care what they throw.
The body, the mind, Chad Kreuter did not want to comment after this one. By the way, a lot of handcuffs, but no official arrest that we have been told.
Well, Chad didn't want to comment because he may be a guy that has some legal problems. I mean, no matter what happens there, I know that the fan took his hat, maybe even did hit him in the back of the head, but it's a no-win situation because it calmed down a little bit right here. And then Chad makes a chokehold right there on this fan, and it is not a good situation. The fan tries to choke him back. Very, very ugly. The players try to break it up again. But this went on the whole 9th inning. The fans were definitely drunk out there. No question about it. The fans started this. But, again, it's a no-win situation for the players or management once you cross the line and go into the stands. You've got to just leave it right there. And I feel bad for Chad. I know Chad very well. He's a pretty good guy.
And we saw what happened with the Tigers and the White Sox with suspensions and fines, so this should be interesting.
What kind of suspension do you think Chad will get?
I don't know about suspension from Frank Robinson. I'm more concerned about the legal problems right that he's going to have with the fans. And this happens time and time again. I can think back to Mo Vaughn in a nightclub back for me in '95 when he won the MVP. A fan in a nightclub baited him. He got in a big brawl, a big altercation, and fortunately had enough witnesses. So hopefully Chad Kreuter has enough witnesses. This is going to go to court right here. This is a serious, serious situation.
It's on tape. We'll have more baseball a little bit later, but right now let's get to the basketball.
Last night, Sean Green got the Dodgers off in the right direction with a 2-run home run in the first inning. However, Ricky Gutierrez counted with a home run in the third to tie up the game. The issue was finally settled in the 8th inning when Todd Hundley hit a 3-run home run to win it to the delight of his wife. Game 2 coming up. It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Wrigley Field in Chicago, Fox Sports Net 2 presents the Dodgers as they take on the Chicago Cubs. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good morning to you, wherever you may be. The Irish have a name for it. They call it a soft day, one of those gray days with a light drizzle, a light mist. So here at Wrigley Field, we've covered the infield with the tarp, and hopefully Game 2 of the 3-game series will be played, perhaps a little bit later than originally scheduled. Talking about originally scheduled, we will see Darren Dreifert going for the Dodgers. He'll go up against Scott Downs, a left-hander whom we have never seen before. For Darren Dreifert trying to win his fourth, he would join Chan-Ho Park, who won his fourth in St. Louis. Only Dreifert's record, if he wins, would be 4-1. Both men pitched exceptionally well in St. Louis. Dreifert pitching a shutout, Chan-Ho Park striking out 12 in probably the best game he pitched. Talking about Park, he'll be pitching tomorrow against John Lieber. So the Dodgers won a wild one last night, 6-5. The so-called friendly confines of Wrigley Field were a little bit unfriendly in the area back of the Dodger bullpen. Hopefully that has been gone, forgotten, and will never happen again. We'll be back with a subject that's on everybody's mind these days, home runs, right after this. So the grounds crew has removed the tarp. They are tapping down the earth around the pitching rubber. And more importantly, they have now removed the tarps from one of the two bullpens where the starting pitchers will go to warm up. So a hearty crowd, and of course this is the city of the broad shoulders, and they're not going to let a little light rain deter them from getting the ball game in. So it'll be a little while before the game gets started, and the starting pitchers for the Dodgers, Darren Dreifert, has not gone down to begin. However, Scotty Downs has gone down to the Chicago bullpen, and it won't be long before we get the ball game in, maybe another 15 minutes or so. So get yourself comfortable, pull up a chair, and the subject is baseball indeed. In fact, it's hardcore baseball coming up next. Today, but that's good news, we're going to get the ball game in. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good day to you, wherever you may be. The temperature in Chicago, 58 degrees. A light breeze about 8 miles an hour coming out of the east. And the Cubs have taken the field. So let's take a look at the Dodger lineup for Game 2 of the series. With a left-hander on the mound, the Dodgers will have F.P. Santangelo in center field, Mark Russelanek at second base, and Sean Green in right field. Gary Sheffield hits cleanup in left. Eric Karros, with a 10-game hitting streak, will be at first base. Adrian Beltre checks in at third. Todd Hundley, who was the hero last night with a 3-run blast, will be behind the plate. Jose Vizcaino will go at shortstop against the left-hander, and Darren Dreifert will be on the mound. Young Scott Downs, that's his name, out of Louisville, Kentucky, and the Cubs feel he'll be a thoroughbred, although it's taken time. He's only 24 years old. He was originally selected by Atlanta 6 years ago, did not sign, then selected by the Cubs. He was traded to Minnesota to get veteran Mike Morgan. Everybody has been traded for Mike Morgan. And then he was traded back to the Cubs for Jason Ryan and Kyle Losey with Rick Aguilera. Scott Downs, as he stands on the mound, opened up the year and picked up a victory against Florida, going 7 innings. That's the one game he has pitched well. He also lost when Houston knocked him around a bit, and his last time out, no decision against Arizona. So young Scott Downs will be pitching to F.P. Santangelo, followed by Mark Russelanek and then Sean Green. Darren Dreifert has concluded his warm-ups as he tries to win his 3rd in a row and get his record to 4-1. Dreifert has been a winner in his 7 previous starts. The Dodgers have won 5 of the 7. So F.P. Santangelo will check in and get this ball game underway. F.P. hitting just less than a buck with 3 RBIs, and the smallest right-hand batter takes ball 1, and we're underway. They pull up the corners, both Willie Green and Julio Zoletta, just in case Santangelo tries to bunt. Downs comes back 1-0, and that's a strike, and the count 1-1. When Downs made his debut, and it could have been butterflies and nerves against Cincinnati, he walked 6 in 6 1/3 innings. And of course, for any youngster, especially a left-hander, control is of paramount importance. The 1-1 pitch is in there, and the count 1-2. Scotty Downs was 24 on St. Patrick's Day. Big Gora throws hard enough to average about a strikeout an inning during his minor league career, and played baseball collegiately at the University of Kentucky. The left-hander is big enough, 6'2", 190, and the fastball is low to Santangelo, and the count 2-2. When Scotty Downs beat Florida, he became the first left-handed starting pitcher from the Cubs farm system to earn a win since 1988. The 2-2 pitch, the high chopper, charging it as Willie Green throws on the run to get him, and just like that, we have one down. You have to go back to Jamie Moyer to have a left-hander coming up out of the system to win in 1988. The Cubs with the leather back of Scotty Downs. They will set up this way. Julio Zuleta at first base. Then you have Eric Young, Ricky Gutierrez, and Willie Green. Dave Martinez, Damon Buford, and Sammy Sosa. Joe Girardi behind the plate. And Ricky Gutierrez just absolutely sparkling at shortstop since coming over from Houston. Mark Grusolanic checking in now, hitting .265. Downs into the windup, and the fastball is low. Ball 1, 1-0. Mark Grusolanic, since April the 21st, has hit .315, though he has elevated his average up to .265. The 1-0 pitch finds the outside corner for a strike. In the month of May, the merry month of May, as far as Grusolanic is concerned, he's hitting .327. 1 out, 1 ball, and 1 strike. We're just starting at Wrigley. The 1-1 pitch is a fastball hit down to Gutierrez. He picks it nicely, takes care of Grusolanic. 2 down. So Downs getting some ground balls, and the batter is Sean Green. And if you're going to pitch in Wrigley Field, you had better get ground balls. Naturally, it is one of the smaller parks, albeit the oldest park in the National League. 330 down the lines, 368 in the alleys, and 400 to center. So far this year, there have been 71 home runs hit here at Wrigley Field. 37 by the Cubs, 34 by the Dodgers, and 1 by Sean Green last night. Sean takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Green, 7 home runs, 26 runs batted in, hitting a little more than .320. Looks at a big curveball in for a strike, and the count 0-2. So Green, with 2 out last night, had a key home run with Sheffield aboard, but he hits ahead of Gary against left-handers and just did get out of the way of an 0-2 pitch that almost nailed him. Sean Green hit by a pitch last night, served up by Kevin Tapani. 1-2 the count to Sean. Pitch just stayed at the rib cage, and he had to get out of the way. The next one is outside. He started to swing and held up, and the count 2-2. The weather has certainly put a damper on the crowd, although not its enthusiasm. They're averaging better than 31,000 a game here, and they had a big crowd last night, 38,000. Green swings and misses and strikes out. So Scotty Downs sets the Dodgers down in order, and at the end of half an inning, Dodgers nothing, Cubs coming up. In their half of the first inning, let's take a look at the Cubs lineup, a ball club that is 11 games under 500 and in 6th place, 8.5 games behind Cincinnati. Eric Young will start it off. Ricky Gutierrez at short and Dave Martinez in left field. Sammy Sosa hitting cleanup in right, and Willie Green will be at third. Julio Zuleta will be at first base. Damon Buford in center field. The veteran catcher Joe Girardi behind the plate, and Scotty Downs on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Darren Dreifert making his 8th start. The Dodgers are 5-2 in the games he has started. Personally, he has a record of 3-1. He has won his last 2 games. And Dreifert checking in now, trying to win his 4th of the year against 1 loss. The last 2 games, Darren Dreifert beat Houston and St. Louis. He had a brilliant shutout, going 9 innings to slam the Cardinals. He has really pitched better than the 3-1 record. His ERA is 2.5. He could easily be undefeated. So Dreifert going to work on Eric Young, and the first pitch of the former Dodger is in there for a strike. EY for the last 3 weeks blazing hot. hitting .355 over that stretch to get his average just a hair under .330. And the strike one pitch, EY takes high. EY getting very emotional and slamming Dodger manager Davey Johnson in the newspapers. Came up with the big at-bat last night and was thoroughly frustrated when he popped up. He takes inside. Last night he had 2 singles, a stolen base, scored twice, then over-hustled, messed up a fly ball in the 8th inning, going out into Sosa land, and then made that big out with runners at 2nd and 3rd. The 2-1 pitch, a comebacker. Dryford has it and flips to first for the out. So Young is disposed of, 1 away, and Ricky Gutierrez coming up. The Dodgers behind Darren Dryford. Eric Harrison, Mark Russellonic, Jose Vizcaino, and Adrian Beltre, with Sheffield, Santangelo, and Green in the outfield. Hundley behind the plate. For the Dodgers, they don't lose very much at shortstop. They play Cora, then when a left-hander goes, they play the veteran Vizcaino, and meanwhile, Kevin Elster very close to coming back. The pitch to Ricky Gutierrez, in for a strike, 0-1. Elster is eligible to come off the DL on Friday. Gutierrez hitting .329. He has just really something to prove to Houston. Fouls 1 away off to the right. That'll carry lower deck. 0-2 the count to Ricky. Gutierrez with pretty good range, but not great range, and perhaps that's one reason why the Astros dealt him away. He hit his 6th home run. That's a career high last night against Kevin Brown. Now the strike 2 pitch. Ricky swings and misses, and down he goes. Cubs, by the way, have lost 2 in a row, and they are struggling no matter where they play. They're 3 games under 500 at home, 8 games under 500 on the road. They did split 2 in Tokyo. And the batter now is Dave Martinez. Martinez, who first came to the Cubs, left them for 12 years and has now come back. Martinez played first base last night, but Henry Rodriguez fouled a ball off his knee, and so Martinez is playing in his stead in left field today, and Dave takes low, ball 1. He was acquired from Tampa Bay 5 days ago in the deal that sent left-hander, former Dodger and Cub Mark Guthrie, to Tampa Bay. The 1-0 pitch on the way, and Martinez has a look, and that's ball 2, 2-0. Martinez, no power. He had 1 home run and 12 RBIs for Tampa Bay. Went 0 for 3 last night. Last time he hit a home run for the Cubs was July the 4th, 1988. He takes a strike, and the count 2-1. The longest span, Billy Jurges, went over 9 years. The Cubs shortstop in 1938 waited until almost the end of 1947 to come back here and hit a home run for Chicago. 2-1 pitch is fouled back. So Martinez is still there, 2-2. Billy Jurges, I remember very well, a shortstop who later in his career played for the New York Giants. They were in a terrific pennant race, and Billy Jurges got into a face-to-face argument with umpire George Majorkirth and spit in his face. Was suspended 10 days, and the Giants went down the drain. But he was a fiery player, Billy Jurges. 2-2 pitch to Dave Martinez. Bad ball, chased and missed. Hundley picks it up and throws to first to get him. So Dryford strikes out 2 of the 3, and at the end of an inning, no score. For the second inning, a reminder, the Dodgers return home Monday the 22nd to host Ken Griffey Jr. and the Reds. All fans in attendance on the 23rd receive a free Dodger bucket hat, compliments of Pizza Hut. For tickets, give us a call, 323-224-1-HIT. Dodger Stadium, you have to be there, and we want you to be there when we get home. Cincinnati and Philadelphia. Gary Sheffield, Eric Karros, and Adrian Beltre against young Scott Downs. Downs, who had experienced only a Double-A before being brought up to the big leagues, and the left-hander's fastball is low, ball 1, 1-0. Gary Sheffield playing consistent ball, hitting a very solid .321, and in last night's game had 3 singles. The Chef swings, doesn't get it, and the count 1-1. Sheffield 12 home runs, 30 RBIs, and Scott Downs contending with one of the top hitters in the league. Downs checking, Sheffield waiting. 1 ball, 1 strike. The left-hander deals, and the fastball is low. Ball 2, 2-1. Dodgers play here again tomorrow, and then spend the weekend in Florida, and then they'll be home Cincinnati and Philadelphia. 2-1 pitch is down and away. Ball 3. Scotty Downs made his major league debut at Cincinnati, worked 6 1/3 innings, struck out 4, was not involved in the decision. A 3-1 pitch, a fly ball to left field down the line, moving over as Martinez to one-handed for the out. So Gary Sheffield, a fly ball to left, 1 away, and Eric Karras coming up. Eric Karras has a 10-game hitting streak, and he is also getting closer and closer to Ron Cey. He has 11 home runs this year, 222 in his career. Ron Cey holds the record atop the Los Angeles all-time home run chart. Cey had 228. So Karras waiting, and Downs delivers, curveball, and a good one wrinkles in for a strike, and the count 0-1. During the streak of 10 games, Eric is hitting .368. Now the strike 1 pitch on the way, and that's in there, 0-2. Gary Sheffield hit safely in the first 12 games. That's the longest Dodger hitting streak. Of course, 5 years ago, Eric had a 17-game hitting streak. He takes outside, and the count 1-2. 1 out, top of the second, no score. Downs turns on the rubber, and the 1-2 pitch, the fastball hit to right center, slicing on Damon Buford, and he one-hands it on the dead run. Nice play by Damon Buford in center field. Ball started to slice on him, but he is quick enough to catch up to it. Worth another look. He never broke stride and was just about 1 stride from the warning track when he hauled it down. So a good play, and Damon, like any outfielder, knows where he is on grass, and that allowed him that extra full burst of speed to take the extra base hit away from Karras. Now the batter is Adrian Beltre. Downs ready, and the left-hander delivers, and Adrian looks at a strike, and the count 0-1. Beltre last night 1 for 4. It was a home run in the second inning. He has 4 home runs, 18 runs batted in. He swings, hits a little dunker to center. Coming in a hurry is Buford to pick it off. So he shows he can go back, goes left, and now comes in. And the Dodgers are gone on fly balls. And at the end of an inning and a half, no score. Bottom of the second inning. You know, the Phillies come to Dodger Stadium for a 3-game series on May 26th. All fans in attendance receive a free sports bag. Tickets start at just $6. Call us at 323-224-1-HIT. Dodgers home starting Monday, Cincinnati and Philadelphia. Sammy Sosa coming up to face Darren Dreifort. He'll be followed by Willie Green and then Julio Zoleta. Sosa has been a very hot hitter, even though he was silenced last night. Hitting .340, 13 home runs, 41 RBIs, struck out twice and went 0 for 3 last evening. He did have a scoring fly ball to pick up a run batted in. Dreifort ready and delivers, and the fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Sammy atop the heap, along with Todd Helton of Colorado, with 41 runs batted in. Sosa, in his career against the Dodgers, has hit 22 home runs. He takes high. Sosa waiting at the plate. Against Darren Dreifort, Sosa is hitting .500, 8 for 16. Rips on the hands and doesn't get it, and the count 1-2. He also has a home run and 6 RBIs against Darren Driver. Sammy looking for number 350. He's right on the edge. 1-2 the count. Sosa checks. Dryford ready, and the pitch to Sammy down and away. Ball 2, 2-2. Over the last 12 games, almost 2 weeks, Sosa has hit .460. When he hits his 350th, 321 of them will have been hit as a Cub. He's hit 183 of his home runs right here at Wrigley. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way, and that's off the plate. Ball 3. Sammy is well on his way to another 100 RBI year. That would be 6 straight years he's done that. The only other Cub to have 5 straight 100 RBI campaigns, Hall of Famer Hack Wilson. The 3-2 pitch coming up. Sammy hits late and foul. That goes upstairs off to the right and then rattles around and comes down below. Another milestone for Sammy Sosa that he will pick up somewhere along the line. He needs 18 RBIs to give him 1,000 in his big league career. So Sam waiting. Drivert into the windup, and the 3-2 pitch is on the hands. A little fly ball to shallow center. Going out for it is Grassolonic. He can't get it. Diving was Green. Santangelo can't get it. And with 3 Dodgers, the pop fly falls amongst them, and Sosa has himself a single. I think in the way they were playing, Santangelo might have had a play. But Grassolonic went way out there. FP slowed down and stopped, and Green hit the dirt to get out of the way. So it'll go as a single, and the batter will be Willie Green. So FP playing center field for Todd Hollinsworth. Bottom of the 2nd inning, no score. Dodgers and Cubs. Driver ready and deals. Green fouls it back, and the count to Willie 0-1. Green, a good hitter when he was with Cincinnati. And he is holding up his end of the bargain here, hitting .300. Of course, the bat has not been the problem for the Cubs. Not at all. It has been the pitching that has sunk the ship. Now the strike 1 pitch, and Green takes low. 1-1. You know, for almost 3 weeks now, the Cubs have hit over .300. They're 3rd in the league in runs scored, 1st in hits, 2nd in home runs with 68. So Baylor's boys are hitting, but the pitchers are coughing them up. The 1-1 pitch on the way is instead a throw to first, and a good save by Karras. The Cubs in a stretch of playing 19 of 22 at Wrigley Field, but they have lost 11 of the 17 going into this one. The 1-1 pitch is fouled back, and the count 1-2. So Darren Drivert and Scotty Downs battling it out in game 2. Tomorrow, the concluding game, Chan Ho Park and John Liebert. They were saying that perhaps it would be Kerry Wood, and then Don Baylor decided to give Wood 7-day rest before coming back. Now the 1-2 pitch to Green, way inside, gets away but not far enough. Sosa lost sight of the ball for the moment, and the count 2-2. John Lieber, who will pitch for Chicago tomorrow, is coming off that rarest of the rare, a complete game. Everybody else playing tonight. Arizona lost last night, so the Dodgers begin 5.5 games behind Arizona. 2-2 to the left-hand hitting Willie Green. Sosa falling back on the bag. He has stolen 3 out of 5. So they're going to keep an eye on him anyway. And on deck, Julio Zuleta. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Driver watching Sosa. Now the pitch to Green, and that's lifted back a third, down the line and foul ground into the bullpen. Beltry leaning across a top roller to make the catch. Nice play by Adrian Beltry. The tarpaulin that had been put on the infield before the game is rolled up just before you get really into the bullpen. And Adrian just leaned on the top and made the catch. Fine play. 1 out. Sosa holding at first. And the batter is Julio Zuleta. The Dodgers might not have known much about Zuleta until last night. And then he came off the bench, slapped a double to right field, and really put Jeff Shaw in a mess. But he was able to battle his way out of it. Zuleta takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Zuleta was called up when Mark Grace went on the DL. The Cubs are playing with 2 of their big motors silenced. One would be Mark Grace and the other Henry Rodriguez. Now the next pitch, and Zuleta fouls it off, and the count 0-2. Julio Zuleta is from Panama. He's a big guy, 6'6", 230 pounds. Grace has been trying to help him play first base. Zuleta was at Double-A last year. Spent a long time developing. He spent 4 years in A-ball, 2.5 years in rookie ball. Zuleta takes outside. He has been one of the top offensive players in the Cub minor league system. Last year he hit 21 home runs, and he also led the league in being hit by pitches. I guess one thing goes along with the other. 21 home runs, 20 hit batters. 1-2 the count. Big right-hand hitter. Throw to first. Back to the bag goes Sammy Sosa. Mark Grace is banged up with a hamstring pull, and the MRI showed a tear. So it is different from the hamstring pull that kept sidelining Mark Grace in 1997. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Zuleta. Swung on and missed. Low and inside, and down goes the big guy. That's strikeout number 3 for Darren Dreifort. And with 2 down, it'll bring up Damian Buford. In looking over Darren Dreifort's previous starts, he had 8 strikeouts when he beat Houston. That's his high for the year. Also, the single by Sosa, that pop fly that should have been caught, broke a string, a rather amazing string for Dreifort. The pitch low, ball 1. Going back to the 2nd inning of his game against St. Louis and through the 1st inning today, in 9 consecutive innings, he faced only 27 batters. But the pop fly has broken the string. Now he's trying to get Buford and end the inning. The 1-0 pitch to the center fielder is instead a throw to first. Damian Buford made a fine running catch of the ball hit in the gap in right center field. Also charged in to make a good play. He's the son of Don Buford, who spent 10 years in the big leagues with the White Sox in Baltimore. The pitch to Damon is swung on and popped up in foul ground. Hundley has some room, comes back, can't make it. It's on the other side of the screen. Don Buford was a manager in the Baltimore Orioles organization, and at that time Damon played for his dad. He also has a brother, Don Jr., who was in the Baltimore minor league system. He has a cousin who's an outfielder in Tampa Bay's organization. Damon graduated from Birmingham High School and attended USC. So Buford at the plate and waiting. He'll be 30 years old on the 12th of June. Damon came here in a deal from Boston that sent infielder Manny Alexander to Beantown. The 1-1 pitch on the way is a roller down to shortstop. Vizcaíno shovels the ball to Grusolanic, and that's it. So a base hit, and that should have been caught. And at the end of 2, no score. Top of the 3rd inning, a chance for us to show you our upcoming schedule. Tomorrow right here at 11 a.m. Fox Sports Net 2. The weekend on Friday from Florida. on Extra Sports, AM 1150, Saturday at 4 and Sunday at 10 on KTLA Channel 5. And, of course, friends, as you no doubt know, in addition to our television coverage, you can catch all the Dodger games throughout the year on Extra Sports, AM 1150, with Ross Porter on the left, Rick Monday on the right. But on this very foggy day, pretty hard to see the boys, but they are there, as usual, telling the story. Boy, what a story to tell with Todd Hundley. He'll be followed by Jose Vizcaíno and then Darren Driver. Hundley has homered in 4 straight, 7 of his last 8, and he has 3 home runs this year as a right-handed batter, so it all totals up for him to 11. 27 ribbies. In the last 9 games, he's hit better than .320 with 7 home runs. And the 1-0 pitch in for a strike. And for the last 21 games he has played in, he's picked up 24 RBIs. Last night was interesting. His wife had rented a party suite in a building back of left field. And sure enough, as she would stand out there on the balcony on the 2nd floor, right in there, his wife Tiffany and a large group of friends, Hundley came up in the 8th inning and hit the game-winning home run. 2-2 the count to Todd. He is a different man from the player who was behind the plate last year. He is over all of his injuries. He worked extremely hard this winter. I don't know of anybody who worked any harder. And it is certainly paying off, and that's always nice to see. 2-2. Fly ball to right field. Sammy is there. 1 away. One thing about Scotty Downs, he started the game getting 2 ground balls from Santangelo and Grishalanek. But the last 4 consecutive outs have been fly balls, and that's always a dangerous trend, especially here at Wrigley. To repeat, there have been 71 home runs here at Wrigley Field already this year. At Dodger Stadium, 41, so 30 more hit here. That's a strike to Vizcaíno. To Jose. Dreifert to follow. In there. The light breeze about 8 miles an hour blowing out of the east, so it really translates. Coming back of the right field corner, Zephyr-like as it crosses to the left field foul pole. But it won't give you much of a push, nor will it affect a fly ball for the moment anyway. 0-2 to Vizcaíno. Wouldn't bite at the curve. 1-2. Vizcaíno hitting .239 with 3 RBIs. The Dodgers will have a personnel move to make when Kevin Elster is ready to come off, and we think he'll be back perhaps Friday. Kevin working out every day, taking BP in infield, and he's about ready. The Dodgers then would have 3 shortstops, Cora, Vizcaíno, and Elster. And as well as Alex Cora has been playing, he's liable to go back. Ball 3. Alex Cora sitting quietly in the back, hitting .321. 2 RBIs, but there might not be any room for him right now. We'll see. On the corner. So Vizcaíno is rung up by Mike Everett. That would be the 2nd strikeout for Scotty Downs, and the batter will be Darren Driver. Driver hitting about a half a buck. He has 1 hit. He has struck out 7 of 18 at bats. Now, many times we have seen it happen over the years. A young pitcher comes to camp with the reputation of being a solid hitter. Ken Hopark and Darren Dreifert had those credentials, solid hitters in high school and college. But as they concentrate on pitching, the hitting skills that they brought begin to erode. Plus, of course, this is the big leagues. Hard ground ball to the hole. Knocked down by Gutierrez, and that's all. So Driver's going to come up with a single. So Darren, an infield single. That breaks the string at 8. And it will bring up F.P. Santangelo. They are going to give Gutierrez an error on that backhanded effort deep in the hole. That's a little tough. So Gutierrez charged with his 3rd error of the year. The driver to board. Santangelo waiting. Ball 1. Game 2 of the 3-game series, the longest trip of the year. Geronimo Baroa looks up to the press box as if to say, how in the world could you take that ground ball and charge Dreifert an error? Hitters think hitters. Ball 2. F.P. Santangelo trying to help out wherever and whenever they need him. Tough role. Right. Of course, he wouldn't be playing at all if Devon White were healthy. The Dodgers then would be alternating against left and right with Hollingsworth and Devon White. But Devo is down. Holly doesn't start against left-handers. He sits and watches, and FP plays in his stead. 2-1. 3-1. It's always pleasant to play a day game, but it's a little bit tough on the system. In the big leagues, when you are accustomed to playing night after night after night, and suddenly you hit Chicago, and it's like a whole different world. Of course, they did play one night game last night for years without any night games here. It really was a joke. 3-1. Fly ball to Damon Buford. He's right there. And that's that. Talking about lights, the lights are on here at Wrigley. And at the end of 2.5 innings, no score. Fox Sports Net 2 presents Dodger Baseball, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Log on for low fares at southwest.com, a symbol of e-freedom. By KFC, we do chicken right. And by your local Southern California Mercedes-Benz Retail Center. See the new 2000 models today. Bottom of the 3rd inning, no score in the ball game. Youngsters are here taking a taste of cotton candy coming out of a big sack. That's the large economy size sack. He'll do a good number on that before the day is done. It'll be Joe Girardi, Scotty Downs, and then Eric Young. Joe Girardi, kind of a come down for him, and that's no knock with the Cubs, but he's been with the Yankees the last 4 years. He's been in 3 World Series. So the veteran catcher, he'll be 36 in October. Ball 1. Girardi first came up with the Cubs in 1989. Left here in 93 to play for Don Baylor in Colorado. Now after 4 years with the Yankees, he's back and he's with Baylor. 2-0. Joe, of course, is considered a local boy. He was born in Peoria. 2-0. That's right, 2-1. Girardi first selected by the Cubs way back in 1986. Ball 3. Last year, Girardi had a memorable game for the Yankees in August. He drove in 7 runs, and that's ball 4. So Dreifert gave up a fly ball that dropped in. Confusion amongst the Dodgers in the 2nd inning. Now he allows his second base runner to walk to Girardi. And we'll take our first look at Scotty Downs. And father and son taking in the ball game. Always a lovely sight. And mom is right there as always, a steady hand. I think the saddest thing, and Mike Ireland captured it last night, with all the rhubarb going on behind the Dodger bullpen, there was a scene of a mother trying to explain to a youngster what was going on. I would love to have heard her explanation, but it was heartbreaking to think it had to be explained, that it had to occur in the first place. I think the attitude of the good people in Chicago, and there are so many of them, total embarrassment. Foul back. Well, let's take a look at Downs. He is 1 for 13, and he has struck out 4 times. He has 1 sacrifice. So Baylor obviously thinks he can handle a bat, and he had him take a shot. That's not convincing Beltry. Adrian still looking bunt, way in at third. And he's coming. And it's a pretty good bunt, and then it checks back. So for the moment, it looked like he did his job, but there was some backspin. Hundley alertly let the ball decide the issue, and the count 0-2. Downs checking with Gene Glenn coaching at third. Over at first, one of the great Cubs, Billy Williams. Nice to see Billy out on the line. When you come here, you'll notice the foul poles, and you will notice the banner atop each. Well, in right field, Billy Williams, and in left field, Ernie Banks. Got the bunt down, so he is handy with the bat. Sacrifice going 1-4. So Girardi at second, and Eric Young coming up. Fingers out of the way, just trying to catch it. Drops a little poached egg out in front of the plate. Good play. Boy, it is so critical for a pitcher to learn how to bunt. It's such a vital part of the game. So Scotty gets pats on the backs and 5s from his teammates. They know how tough it is. Even one from the great Sosa. Now EY hit back to the box and hit it hard in the first inning. One ball and no strikes. Young has stolen 15 out of 16. Derek Bell has 19 multi-hit games. Eric Young has 18. He's off to a great start. One big reason, he's healthy. Last year when he was with the Dodgers, he was banged up. Ground ball picked nicely by Beltry to take care of him. With the ball hit ahead of him, Girardi had nowhere to go. So EY, who started off last night with 2 hits, has now gone 0 for 5. And the batter will be Ricky Gutierrez. The shortstop struck out in the first inning. Want to know the count. If you wanted a sacrifice, we were talking about Scotty Downs getting the job done, but if you really needed a sacrifice, the guy you want is Ricky Gutierrez. He is remarkable at that. He's also a pain in the neck if you're a pitcher. Little chopper foul. Last year, Ricky Gutierrez was facing hard-throwing Bartolo Colon of the Indians. And he battled Colon for 20 pitches. That's right, 20. It's certainly the longest at-bat of the last 12 years. Kevin Bass had a 19-pitch at-bat against Steve Bedrosian back in 1988. And he was up there longer than Kevin. 20 pitches. I mean, that does qualify as a serious pain in the neck. Comebacker. Reifert has it. That's that. No runs, no hits, a leadoff walk, and a man left. And at the end of 3, no score. Game, and it's time for our Aflac trivia question. We're in Wrigley Field, so who holds the Cubs record for the most home runs at Wrigley Field? I'll give you the answer a little bit later on. Oh, it is thumb-sucking time on the old plantation. Dad is as happy as a father can be holding his daughter. A sweet moment. Mark Grisolonic, Sean Green, and Gary Sheffield in that order. We're in the 4th, no score. Grisolonic grounded to short in the 1st inning. The only hit, a fly ball that should have been caught. And Grisolonic, along with Sean Green, F.P. Santangelo, Mark kind of strayed out too far. F.P. peeled off. Sean Green dived to the ground, and then Grisolonic had it go off his glove. That's the only hit. 1-1. Young Scotty Downs. Ball 2, 2-1. Downs through 3 innings made only 43 pitches. More than half of them were strikes. And half of the hitters he got the first pitch over for a strike. Not now. He's 3-1 to Grisolonic. Those are the 2 basic rules for any pitcher. Get the first pitch for a strike and get the first hitter in the inning. 3-1. Grisolonic has hit safely in 12 of his last 16. And he is doing very, very well at second base. Davey Johnson was saying usually to make the transition it takes a full year. And Grisolonic is just about there now after 37 games. EY has been back and forth. Second base in the outfield. In fact, it's interesting that when EY was in Colorado, he and Don Baylor didn't see eye to eye at all. EY wanted to play second base. Baylor wouldn't even let him take infield, made him stay in the outfield. Then Young goes to the Dodgers. They're not happy with him playing second base. EY is reunited with Don Baylor, and he's playing second base for Baylor here. So it goes in the wild world of baseball. Ball 1 to Sean Green, who struck out in the 1st inning. That was so impressive the other night on this trip in Arizona when he faced Randy Johnson. That was remarkable. He walked up and hit the first pitch for a single to right. Next time up, hit the first pitch for a single to right. And then in the 8th inning, got another base hit. All against Randy Johnson. Up until Sean Green had done that, left-hand hitters against Randy Johnson were 2 for 25, and he goes up and gets 3 hits against him. He had Johnson really talking to himself more than usual. 2-0. No score. We're in the 4th inning. Breeze has picked up a little now, blowing from right to left. Here at Wrigley, it is always a factor. You're always extremely conscious. If you're an outfielder, you're always checking the flags. 2-0. A drive to right. Sosa not going to catch it. It's going to go against the ivy. Grisolonic is on his way to third, and Hoffman will hold him on a double by Sean Green. So Green continues to wear out left-handers. He's already done a number on the right-handers, and 14th double. There was no doubt that Sosa could not catch it. Sean making a big turn to get around Big Zuleta and got into second. And Zuleta is a sizable roadblock over there. He's 6 feet 6 inches. So to get around him is really getting around. Second and third, nobody out, with Sheffield, Karras, and Beltry coming up. What it also is for Scotty Downs is the dreaded second time around. The hitters have had one look at him. Now we'll see if he'll adjust, and can they adjust with him? Right. Sheffield's been on base a lot. He scored 5 runs in the last 2 games. With right-handers on the mound, Sheffield hits 3rd and Green 4th. That's why he's been scoring. With a left-hander, they reverse. Green hits 3rd and Sheffield bats 4th. Either way you cut it, that's a great 1-2 combination. Green at second, Grusolanic at third, nobody out. 1-1. Boy, the chef really has the armor on today, doesn't he? Sometimes you can see the skin on his left arm, but not today. What a one. Two and one. And that's laced into center for a base hit. 1 run will score. Green is on his way. He will score. So Sheffield, with a line single to center, keeps it going. And Gary now has 32 runs batted in and contributes another $100 to the reviving baseball in inner cities program. So the second time around, and it proves to be very tough for Scotty Downs. A walk to Grusolanic, a double to Green, and the single by Sheffield. So with the Dodgers leading 2-0, Eric Karras checks in. Quick throw, and he almost threw it away. Zuleta just did get over Sheffield. Well, he's a formidable target over there at first, is Zuleta. There used to be a ball player, oh my goodness, a long time ago, who was as tall as Zuleta, George Kelly, and he had a nickname of High Pockets. Well, we have a High Pockets Julio Zuleta, the pride of Panama. 1-0. That's a strike. 1-1. Dodgers leading 2-0. They led 2-0 and 3-1 last night, and had to eventually hang on to win 6-5. Curveball is hit inside the line, down in the corner. Sheffield on his way to third. The throw into second. Ewai is not at the bag, and getting in there is Karras. There wasn't anybody at second base. Had Young been there, they might have gotten Karras. But Ewai was on the other side of the bag. Meanwhile, Gutierrez was acting as a cutoff man down the line. And Ewai had to come back, and Eric beat him. So this is what happens when the big leaguers see you the second time. You might get by the first time, but now they start to read you and exploit you. Oscar Acosta going out to the mound to talk to his young pitcher. So it started with a walk to Grusolanic. Green doubled into third. Sheffield singled both men home. Karras now has hit in 11 straight as he drives Sheffield to third. And the beat goes on. Now Acosta needs to talk to Downs and tell him, look, you're going to have to make some serious adjustments here. They are reading you for sure. So the rookie is not only down 2-0, he's in danger of giving up some more, and there's nobody out. And the batter will be Adrian Beltre with first base open. Karras visiting with former teammate Eric Young, and now the infield plays up. That makes Beltre an even tougher hitter. Beltry came into the game hitting .265, and he is 0 for 1. He's been struggling for about 2 weeks. Ball 2. Beltry opened up last night's game with a home run, his first at bat. Then wound up going 1 for 4. 2-0 Dodgers, looking for more here in the 4th. 2-1. Scotty Downs out of Louisville, Kentucky. Middle name is Churchill. No, not really. But it would be appropriate, wouldn't it? Line drive, base hit. And Downs is way down. They're going to hold third, and it is 3-0 Dodgers. So Beltry, a base hit to cash in Sheffield. So they send the word down to the bullpen. Better get somebody ready. You can understand Acosta and Baylor's reluctance to go to the bullpen. It has really taken a lathering. But I'm sure Baylor and the Cubs getting that sinking feeling. And so Todd Van Poppel, who seems like he's pitched for everybody, been up a long time, started as an 18-year-old. He's in the pen. Still nobody out, and here is Hundley. Ball 1. There's so much to being a big league pitcher. In fact, Girardi's gone out to talk to him. You have to throw strikes, of course. But with these hitters, you have to change speeds. You have to change your thinking on how you're going to pitch a hitter, because they will just eat you up. And Breitbart knows all about that when you first start out. So in the inning, a walk followed by 4 consecutive hits, 2 doubles, 2 singles. And the Dodgers leading 3-0, and it looks like they're not through. 1-1. Down the line from third is Karras. Away from first is Beltry. Nobody out. Foul back. And 2 the count to Hundley, who flied to right field in the 3rd inning. It doesn't look like Scotty Downs has been throwing very many breaking balls, trying to stay with the fastball, keep it down, then kind of work it inside. Russolonic walked. Green doubled him to third. Sheffield singled both men home. Karras doubled Sheffield to third. Beltry scored Sheffield. Crowding him 3-2. Waiting his turn on deck, Jose Vizcaíno. Glenn Hoffman has something to say to Eric Karras. 68 pitches made by Scotty Downs. 3-2. We'll watch Beltry, and so will Downs. The young Dominican held on by the young Panamanian. And he walked him, so he's really in a mess now. So the Dodgers with a chance to break it wide open. Baylor reluctant to go to his bullpen, but he has one foot on the steps. And the batter is Vizcaíno. Whoops. Here comes a big guy, and that's going to be all. So he gave Scotty Downs a chance. Downs went 3 innings without allowing a hit. And then the sky fell on him. A walk, a double, a single, a double, a single, a walk. And he's history. So as Downs goes down and Popple coming in, we'll pause for this. Looking for more. You know, this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Dodgers may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Dodgers. Todd Van Poppel. Remember when he came up with Oakland back in 1991? I mean, he was going to be phenomenal. Never quite worked. 93, he won 6 games. In 94, he won 7. But finally, the middle of 96, Oakland decided that's enough. He went over to Detroit, claimed by waivers, claimed off waivers by California, but he didn't pitch for him, and it's just been a struggle. An unfulfilled dream, although he's back in the big leagues again. He'll be 29 in December, and he's another fella happy to be here. He was born in Illinois, in Hinsdale. Right to Vizcaíno, who can't believe it. Jose called out on strikes in the 3rd inning. So the base is loaded. Karras, Beltry, and Hundley out there. Nobody out. Fouled away. Van Poppel last year was at AAA Nashville and was not very impressive at all in spring training. They say his velocity has picked up a little bit, and that's why he's back up in the big leagues. 0-2. Ground foul. Todd Van Poppel is 6'5" and 230. That was the area that caused a disturbance last night. Peace reigns today. Karras down the line from 3rd. Beltry away from 2nd. Hundley at 1st. Nobody out. And 3 in the bank. Little slicing fly ball down the line. No play. Foul ball, no catch. Yeah, you can show it, but you didn't catch it. Hey, worth trying. 3rd base umpire Brian Gorman way down the line to make sure he would not be deceived. Martinez came that close. And then with a straight face. See, I caught it. It's the old theory. The ball player is not paid to umpire. Trying to help his pitcher. But Gorman right there. Still 0-2 to Vizcaíno. Another foul ball upstairs. Wrigley Field, Chicago. It's always fun to come here. The enthusiasm of the fans, partly, I think, because of, as Ernie Banks called it, the friendly confines. It opened up in April of 1916. Bill Veeck Sr. had the idea. He's the one who put the ivy on the wall. Whoa, big save by Joe Girardi. They had a wonderful outfielder here for years named Bill Nicholson, left-hand hitter. The people loved him. And he was a big tobacco chewer. So they used to take plugs of tobacco and stuff it on the field. Then the outfielders would pick it up and put it in the ivy so it wouldn't interfere with play. And then after the game, they'd reclaim the chewing tobacco. There's one out, 2 out, and they'll settle for the DP. So Vizcaíno lines to Gutierrez, and they get 2. Beltry hung out to dry. So the double play 6-3. 1st and 3rd 2 out, and Darren Dryford the batter, and Girardi going out to talk to Van Poppel. Van Poppel has been with a lot of ball clubs. So many clubs think maybe we can solve the problem. As we said, he was with Oakland a long time. briefly with Detroit. Then he went to Texas for a spell, even to Pittsburgh. Now back up with the Cubs. Trying to get out of the jam. Hundley at first, Karras at third. Pop fly, bound the line. Look out for the bullpen. Gutierrez has to watch it go back in the stand. I'm on the phone to tell somebody I just got a foul ball. That's great. Well, that's what Roy Campanella said. You have to have a lot of little boy in you. There's a couple of little boys. Good for them. 3-0 Dodgers. Top of the fourth. 1 ball, 1 strike. Driver grounded one to the hole. Looked like a base hit. Gutierrez got his glove on it, couldn't hold it, but they ruled it an error. 2-1 to Darren. Driver is the 8th man to come to the plate for the Dodgers. And they've scored 3 times. Don't forget, we're home Monday. Ken Griffey Jr. and the division-leading Reds. A drive into deep right center. Sosa on his horse to the wall, off the wall. Karras will score. Now they're going to wave Hundley in. Young's throw is to third, not in time, and the Dodgers lead 5-0. So a 2-1 pitch that Dreifert smoked up the alley in right center. It'll be a double and I believe an error charged to Sammy Sosa. That's what it is. Dreifert having to slide, so he tore his pants. Here's that play again. Fastball down the middle, and he whacked it. And then Sosa trying to play it off the ivy. Dropped it. And when he did that, that's the extra base for Dreifert. And here's the slide that will lead to a torn pair of pants and a big strawberry on his right thigh. Almost came off the bag as well. And I'll bet you that burns. Ball 1. In college, we played with sliding pads, but not in the big leagues. They might have almost long underwear cut off at the knee, but no pad. So it's a high 5 inning for the Dodgers. Ground ball to Gillette. A bad hop. Hits him in the chest, but he feeds Van Poppel ahead of the hustling Santangelo. So the Dodgers get 5. They send 9 men to the plate. Dreifert has the big double. And at the end of 3.5, 5-0 Dodgers. Aflac trivia question. Who holds the Cubs record for the most home runs at Wrigley Field? And the answer is Ernie Banks. He hit 290 here. Sammy Sosa has hit 180 some odd. Well, when you ask a pitcher to do something else besides pitch, it can be a stretch. And Darren Dreifert, I think, might not be able to answer the bell. I mean, Dreifert had the double, took third on the error, a hard slide that seemed to take a lot out of him. And now Davey Johnson is going to go out to the mound along with Stan Johnson. So when you have Johnson and Johnson out on the mound, you know the pitcher is in some trouble. Darren looked pooped, to be honest, when he walked out of the dugout. He heaved a huge sigh. And they want to see him pitch. Breaking ball seemed to be okay. He says he's all right. Here's the slide again on the right leg. The throw not in time. Then he came up and almost stumbled and came off the bag. Trying to pin him was Willie Green, but he remained anchored. Well, he has convinced his manager that he wants to stay in. And of course, as a starting pitcher leading 5-0, he has to go the required 5 innings to be eligible for a win. So Karras to the mound to make sure he's all right. And we will see. Sometimes, because Darren does have such nasty stuff, He is an even better pitcher when he is tired. It so often happens to sinker-type pitchers. If they're well rested, too well rested, they become too strong and they overthrow. And then other times when they get tired, they drag the arm just a little and the ball sinks even more. So we'll see what happens. The Dodgers have tried to buy him some time so he can catch his breath. And now the plate umpire Mike Everett says that's enough. Let's go to work. Also remember, it is not an official game. We've only played 3.5 innings. And as the kids would say, it's a yucky day in Chicago. There is proof positive. So Dave Martinez, Sammy Sosa, Willie Green. Ball one. Martinez making his debut the second time around. Last night he played first base and left field, went 0 for 3. And he promptly smokes it into left field. So that is hit number 2 off Darren Dreifort. And the batter will be Sammy Sosa. Sosa hit a fly ball into shallow right center. It should have been caught, but it fell amongst 3 Dodgers. Mark Grassolonic went way out. Green came in from right. Santangelo charging in from center. And then when it looked like Grassolonic was going to make the catch, Santello just stopped. Green hit the deck. And then Grassolonic just got his glove on the ball and he dropped for the hit. There's Sammy up there now. Ball one. Sosa really putting up the numbers. Also tied in RBIs with 41. Add to that 13 home runs. Big chopper in the hole, base hit. So this is what the Dodgers are worrying about now with Dreifort. Has he run out of steam? Has the needle hit empty? And the batter will be Willie Green. Back-to-back singles with nobody out. Claude Osteen, Davey Johnson, Jim Tracy anxiously watching Dreifort. Boy, he looked tired, didn't he, looking up into the sky like that, but looks can be deceiving. Willie Green fouled out in the second inning. That sprawling catch Beltry made, stretching across the tarp. And he hits one to Santangelo in left center. Runners tag, the catch, and coming over is Martinez. So Green, a fly ball to center. Runners at first and third with 1 out. And Julio Zuleta coming up. Zuleta struck out in the second inning. A sinker down around his ankles. Came off the bench last night as a pinch hitter and sliced a double to right against Jeff Shaw. That's the only time the Dodgers saw him prior to today, so they're going over how they want to work him. We'll also watch the infield. Scotty Downs started when 3. Todd Van Poppel has picked up. Cubs trying to get back in the game. Infield back. 1 out. That's the pitch he struck out. And exactly that pitch. He chased it, so they started him with it. 1 ball, no strikes. Nothing Dodgers, bottom of the 4th, getting drearier by the minute. Little roller to third. Beltry thought about going home and then threw to Karras and almost threw it away. Adrian's been a little skitterish when his throws anyway. So Martinez scores, and that makes it 5-1 Dodgers. Beltry with 10 errors, almost all of them on throws. And the very fact he started to think about the plate, then threw in the dirt. Karras made a good play. So down to second goes Sosa. 1 run in, and the batter, Damon Buford. So Sammy away from second. Buford trying to pick him up. Ball 1. Ball, no strikes. Remember, Driver was working on a shutout in St. Louis. Shut the Cardinals down for 9, and he went 3 2/3 innings before allowing a run today. So a total of 12 2/3 innings before giving up a run. Because then you see him have that little stretch, and you think about Drysdale and Hershiser, and you realize just how remarkable the string of scoreless innings was. 1-1. Ball 2. On deck, Joe Girardi. The Driver gave up a couple of singles and a run. Now trying to get the last out, leading 5-1 in the 4th inning. Sosa at second base can take a very big lead, and of course he's going on contact anyway with 2 out. Three and 2 to Damon Buford. Tipped. Hundley can't hold on to it. So Buford is still there, 3 and 2. I don't think you really catch a foul anyway. I think the foul catches you. It either goes in the glove or it comes out. You don't have much to do about it, I don't imagine. Full count. Now back. So Buford hanging tough, trying to pick up Sosa, trying to get the Cubs back in it. The Dodgers sent 9 men to the plate in the top of the 4th. 5 came home. Cubs have scored once here in the bottom of the 4th. If they get to Van Poppel, they're certainly thinking about hitting for him. So Daniel Garibay begins to loosen up in the bullpen. 3 and 2. I think, yeah, he's going to be awarded. He was hit by ball 4. The reason you qualify hit by pitch as opposed to ball 4, the ball is dead by touching any part of the uniform. It just did get a part of the shirt. So Buford hit by the pitch, goes to first. Sosa at second, and Joe Girardi coming up. So Davy Johnson hoping his starter can hang in there, and Girardi waiting. 4-1. Girardi has never been much of a hitter, but like so many catchers, he's worth his weight in gold behind the plate, and that covers a multitude of sins. 1-0. That's a strike. Joe Girardi for the Yankees last year hit .239. He had just 2 home runs. But he was so good defensively, He caught about 40% of the time over George Posada. 2 on, 2 out. 2-1 to count. If you get Girardi to go after a sinker and Dreifert has a good one, the chances are you're going to get a double play, although you don't need it now with 2 out. Girardi last year grounded into 16 double plays and only 200 at bats. That's a strike. Though the deuces, they are wild here in Chicago. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Sosa at second, Buford at first. On deck, Jeff Hewson. Two and 2 to Joe Girardi, the pride of Peoria. Foul ball. So Driver trying to just grit it and get through the inning, and then have a chance to sit down in the dugout, because it wasn't long after he slid into third that Santangelo grounded out, and he had to go back out on the mound, and he wasn't really ready. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 3, so he didn't go after that sinker. Didn't kill any worms, as Charlie Dressen used to say, the late Dodger manager in the early 50s. Beat a ball down into the dirt in front of home plate. Charlie would always call it a worm killer. So the runners will go. That's a little bit of a break for Girardi and the Cubs. 3 and 2 with 2 down. Ball 4. The Driver is really fighting it now, and Jeff Hewson will come off the bench. Hewson is hitting 200. Don Baylor making the move, trying to get back in the game. And Hewson is 2 for 5 as a pinch hitter. So Hewson batting for Todd Van Poppel. He's basically an infielder, and he's played third, short, and second this year. He's been up and down over a period of 11 years. Cups of coffee with Montreal and Texas, Baltimore, Milwaukee, Seattle, and Anaheim. And he's seen action at every position during his career except pitcher and catcher. He hit .262 for the Angels last year. His National League lifetime batting average, however, is below .220. Hitting just .216. 35 years old. Ball 1. They might even tell him to make Dreifert throw a strike, because it's obvious that Darren is struggling a wee bit here. He has given up 2 singles, a hit batter, and a walk, but only 1 run. Now he's behind 2-0. Well, Beltree's going to come over to the mound, and Hundley's going out to talk to him. Hundley and Dreifert are very close pals. Meanwhile, the Dodgers, Davy Johnson talking to Claude Osteen, and Osteen will ring up the pen. See, the telephone rings. So the bases are loaded. 2-0 the count to Hewson. Matt Hurd just moved around first down there. Big pitch. 2 balls, no strike. Ball 3. So standing at third is Sammy Sosa. At second is Damon Buford. At first is Joe Girardi. And the hitter has the count 3-0, Jeff Hewson. Look out. Almost hit him. That forces in a run. Everybody moves up 90, and that's going to be all for Darren. His needle obviously hit empty when he had that double and slid into third. In this inning, he has walked 2 and hit a batter, allowed 2 runs. Now, there are a couple of things under consideration here. The first time Davy Johnson went to the mound, it was to check on a conceivably injured pitcher. So his first trip did not constitute a legal trip to the mound. So consequently, Davy goes out to make sure that did constitute 1 trip, but not a second trip, which would make removal mandatory. Don Baylor comes out and says to Everett, wait a minute, Johnson went to the mound twice. How is it Dreifort can stay in the game? And Mike Everett is saying the first time was a legal concern. And Baylor, with a smile on his face, said, all right. Dreifort has made 25 pitches in the inning and 69 pitches in the game. And Johnny on the spot again, just bursting to do something right, is Eric Young. EY 0 for 2, couple of ground balls. Ball 1. So Buford is at third, Girardi is at second, Houston is at first. And the Dodger lead is 5-2 in the 4th. Dreifort battling desperately to stay in the game, and Davy, since he's ahead by 3, has given him all the rope he can use. Strike. 1-1. No, he has just crossed the 70-pitch barrier, and we're only in the 4th inning. Dodgers got 5, the Cubs have 2, and they're still working at it. And that's going to be a base hit to right. In comes Buford, and here comes Girardi. And it is 5-4 Cubs. And for Eric Young, a most pleasing base hit. His 3rd hit in the 2 games. And this one gets the Cubs right back in it. So Buford and Girardi carry the runs in. Well, Darren Dreifort is still in front as Ricky Gutierrez comes up. But he is hanging on. He's given up 3 singles, 2 walks, and a hit batter. Gutierrez has struck out and hit back to the box. Houston at second, Young at first. Ball 1. And, of course, his major concern is his control. He's been behind on everybody. And he's not out of the woods yet. 1 ball, no strikes. So the tying run, Jeff Houston at second base. Young at first. That's a strike. 1-1. Dodgers 5, Cubs 4, only in the 4th inning. We had a 23-minute rain delay. And it's been a long 4 innings. 1-1. A check swing off the glove of Dreifort, but he recovers, and that'll do it. He's out of the jam barely. But the Cubs get 4, lead 2, and at the end of 4, Dodgers 5, Cubs 4. Dreifort has a chance now to relax. That was a long inning for him. When they had the meeting at the mound, Eric Karras said something. Watch. He at least got a chuckle out of Dreifort. But then back to business as the mood lightened, but only for the moment. 9 Cubs came to the plate. Karras, meanwhile, with the bat, had a key double in the 4th inning to extend his streak to 11. Daniel Garibay from Mexico on the mound. 27-year-old left-hander, 5'11", only 160. Very slender. Garibay has been playing strictly in Mexico and with the Mexico City Tigers. He was originally scouted by Mike Brito of the Dodgers and as signed as a non-drafted free agent. Fly ball to Buford. 1 out. Don't forget, Baseball Thursday. Big Mac and the high-powered Cardinals battle Scott Rowland and the Phillies. That's tomorrow at 4 on Fox Sports Net. One down, and Sean Green at the plate. Struck out and doubled. Scored a run. Daniel Garibay, G-A-R-I-B-A-Y, working on Sean Green. Garibay's been in 8 games and an ERA of a little less than 2.5. High fly ball to center, playable. Buford looking up into the gray mist. 2 down. Garibay, one reason that the Cubs went for him, he was pitching for the Mexico City Tigers for 7 years. In over 800 professional innings in Mexico, he surrendered only 39 home runs. And of course, if you can get away without the long ball here at Wrigley, you're on your way to having a pretty good career. And here's Sheffield. Fly to left, single to center, 1 for 2. Fastball, strike, 0-1. Another fastball, another strike, 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes to Gary. 5-4 Dodgers, top of the 5th. He held up. They're going to check. No indication of a swing. 2-2. Ball 3. In the press guide for the Cubs, they list the name Daniel Garibay and then parentheses Bravo, close parentheses. So no doubt a family name, and if he can quiet the Dodgers, he'll get a few Bravos here in Chicago. That's going to be a base hit for the Chef. So he had 3 hits last night. He comes right back with 2, and that means in the last 2 days here in Chicago, he's contributed $500 to the Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities program. So a 2-out single by Sheffield, and that'll bring up Eric Karros. And meanwhile, Darren Drivert trying to collect himself. Yep, puffing and a puffing. I don't know if you have ever tried to pitch off a mound. Doesn't make any difference where you tried it, but you'll never forget the feeling. Atop a 10-inch mound so that you are striding down a slope. And it takes a tremendous amount of energy to pitch. Never mind how hard you throw and the energy expended to throw the ball. Just the art and act of throwing the ball from the mound is really taxing. That's why the first thing they talk about with a pitcher, beside the arm, would be the legs. And Drivert can tell you all about it. 1-0. Top of the 5th inning, Dodgers 5, Cubs 4. Karros up there, 1 ball and 1 strike. Eric flied to center, double to left. He has hit in 11 straight. Daniel Garibay, the third pitcher for the Cubs. Scotty Downs started and went 3. Van Poppel worked an inning. And now Garibay. Dodgers had 9 men go to the plate in the top of the 4th. The Cubs answered with 9 men of their own in the bottom of the 4th. Now back. The difference, the Dodgers scored 5. And the Cubs scored 4. Dodgers had 5 hits and 2 walks. Drivers, meanwhile, 3 hits, 2 walks, and a hit batter. 1-2 to Eric Karros. Gary Sheffield, standing over at first, has 1 stolen base, but Garibay is keeping an eye on him. The slender left-hander from Mexico, Daniel Garibay. Boy, Garibay had Sheffield running back to first while making the good move to strike out Karros. No run to hit a man left. Time for Dreifert to go back to work. May the 17th, way back, 1953, the little Hoosier Carl Erskine battling for a second no-hitter, but the Reds' Gus Bell, a fine outfielder, the father of Buddy Bell. Gus ended the bid with the Reds' only hit, a bunt single in the 6th inning. That was at old Wrigley Field in Cincinnati so many years ago. Darren Dreifert hopes now that he has regained the touch after that wobbly 4th inning following running the bases. And look at all those 4s. 5-4 in favor of the Dodgers. Dave Martinez, followed by Sammy Sosa and Willie Green. Dreifert needs some outs now to make it an official game for him to win. One ball, no strikes. Martinez struck out, single to left. He led off in that 4th inning. And he drives one to right center, but Green can't get it. It's going to go to the ivy. And Martinez, running well, is not going to stop at second. The relay by Grasolanek, not in time. And the tying run is at third with nobody out. Thought for a moment when Green broke on that ball that he might catch it. But it was far away. Fastball right down the middle. Here comes Green. And then it seemed like he slowed up a hair. And by the time he dug it out of the ivy, Dave knew it was going to mean an extra base. So the tying run is at third, nobody out, and Sammy Sosa coming up. Sosa has singled twice. Trying to get the Cubbies even. Dreifert was standing on the rubber as if he was going to go from a windup, and then he thought better of it. After the 2 walks and the hit batter in the 4th inning, he has to improve his control with Martinez at third, nobody out. Strike. Of course, with Darren throwing nasty sinkers, there's a lot of pressure on Todd Hundley because Dreifert now has thrown 5 wild pitches, and Todd knows all about it. 0-1 to Sammy Sosa. Second in the league in total bases, tied with Todd Helton. 41 runs batted in. Hard ground ball. They'll give the run up. So Martinez brings home the tying run. Sosa picks it up for an RBI. 1 out, 1 in. And the batter will be Willie Green in a 5-5 tie. So Martinez comes back to the Cubs and gets his first hit as a Cub. So all the hard work, the 5 runs in the top of the 4th. Dreifert getting the double, taking third with a big slide on the error by Sosa. And it's all history now. We start fresh, 5-5 in the 5th. Willie fouled out, fly to center. And a drive to right. Back goes Green, away back. It is gone, and it is 6-5 Cubs. So Willie Green hitting his 3rd home run of the year, his 9th run batted in. Dreifert has now given up 6 home runs this year, and the Cubs, down 5-0, have rallied back to take the lead. Down in the pen from Champaign, Illinois, Matt Hergis begins to loosen up. Green got all of that, no doubt about it. Meanwhile, ground ball to the hole by Zuleta. The throw by Vizcaíno is not in time, and Karras couldn't hold it anyway. And that will be a base hit. So we had a triple, a ground out. Then Willie Green hits a home run. Now the single by Zuleta. And the batter will be Damon Buford. And I think Davey has seen enough. So Davey making his 3rd visit to the mound. But the first one was for medical reasons. This time it means a hook. And so Dreifert, who needed 1 inning to win a game when he was leading 5-0, now goes out where he could only lose. So a very disappointed Darren Dreifert, and Matt Hergis will be coming in. We'll pause for this. Comes out not only charged with 6 runs, but remember, Julio Zuleta at first base is also his responsibility. So the Dodgers call in Matt Hergis. Matt, from Champaign, Illinois, went to Illinois State University after going to Centennial High School in Champaign. He had a sizable pass list for the series, I'm sure. And he'll be pitching to Damon Buford. Bunt, foul, 0-1. So in the inning, after giving up 4 runs in the 4th inning, Dreifert gave up the triple to Martinez, the tying run as Sosa grounded out, the go-ahead run and the home run by Willie Green, and for good measure, an infield single to Zuleta. Buford hit into a forced play and was hit by a pitch. Back in the 4th inning. Matt Hergis on the mound for the Dodgers in his 15th game. Matt is 1-0 with an ERA of a little more than 3.6. 6-5 Cubs, 5th inning. And there goes Zuleta, the pitch inside, and the throw. They get him, and there's a lot to get. When you're 6'6", it's pretty hard to duck a tag. Todd Hundley shoots him down, and it really wasn't very close. And he looked back as if it were hit and run, but the pitch was way inside to Buford, and he was hung out to dry easily. So Hundley got it down there, got his man. That's ball 2 to Buford. 2 out in the inning. 2 runs in, 6-5 Cubs. Dreifert, no doubt, thinking about one that got away, all because of that long double, I think. Dreifert getting the long double to drive in 1 run, took third on the error by Sosa. big slide into third, and he was finished. Sammy Sosa, meanwhile, has 2 singles and a ground ball RBI. I guess in a sense you could say Sosa's error bobbling the ball knocked Greifert out of the game. Strike 3. That'll do it. However, the Dodgers get 2, and at the end of 5, Cubs 6, Dodgers 5. Reminder, don't miss the National Sports Report tonight at 10 for highlights of all of today's sports action. The National Sports Report tonight at 10 and again at midnight. Cubs lead 6-5. We go to the 6th inning. Adrian Beltre, Todd Hundley, Jose Vizcaíno against Daniel Garibay. Willie Green's home run in the 5th inning, giving the Cubs the 1-run lead. Adrian Beltre flied to center, single to center, ball 1. And 1. So the starting pitcher for the Cubs, Scotty Downs, who gave up 5 runs in 3 innings plus, is no longer involved, nor is Van Poppel. It's Garibay and Hergis. 2-1 to count. There is a very light rain beginning to fall again, and some umbrellas begin to pop open. Ball 3, 3-1. We had a 23-minute rain delay, so the ball game started local time at 1:43. Now it's 3:45. That's in there. 3-2. Antonio Osuna gets up in the Dodger bullpen. 3-2. Fouled away. So there's Antonio. No doubt thinking now about hitting for Hergis. Three and 2. And he walked him. So Beltre draws the walk, opening up the inning. The tying run is aboard, and the batter will be Todd Hundley. For Don Baylor and for any manager who ever played the game, walking that leadoff man after you have just gotten a lead is tough to take. Cub pitchers this year going into the game had walked 189 batters. Compare that to the Dodgers of 146. Those extra walks will really kill you sooner or later. Ball 1. Hundley flied to right, walked, and scored a run. Dodgers received 2 walks from Downs and cashed in both of them. And now, let's see, Acosta going out. No one throwing in the Cub bullpen. So Acosta just wants to talk to the pitcher. Oscar Acosta talking to Daniel Garibay. See where Acosta is from. Have to look that up. Acosta from New Mexico. He also pitched in Mexico. Okay, Oscar back in the dugout. Garibay working on Hundley with Beltre at first. Nobody out. Here. 6-5 Cubs, top of the 6th. raindrops are falling on the heads of the people here in the ballpark, but they've come well prepared. It is an official game now. Garibay, after walking Beltry, is behind 2-0 to Hundley. Cubs are in last place, chasing Cincinnati. The Reds are 8.5 in front. The Dodgers are in second place, 5.5 behind Arizona. Little bounce to the Garibay. They get one. Not nearly in time to double up Hundley. So the force play 1-6. There wasn't very much Gutierrez could do with that throw because Garibay actually took a little longer than usual to make sure he'd get one. And the batter is Jose Vizcaíno. The Chief is out on deck. Once Osuna got up, you knew that Davey was thinking about a hitter. So Geronimo Baroa is on deck to bat for Matt Herges. Meanwhile, Vizcaíno struck out and lined into a double play with the bases loaded. Right. Right-hander Brian Williams, who has been struggling along with all of the other bullpenners for Chicago. Brian begins to loosen up. Garibay has worked an inning and a third. Vizcaíno looking for his first hit. 6-5 Cubs, top of the sixth, one away. Hundley at first, held on by Zuleta. Two and one to count. Cubs most recently back on the 11th tied a major league record for the length of time for a 9-inning game. 4 hours and 22 minutes. The Cubs won that little gem 14-8. But it took a long time to get the issue resolved. 2-1 to Vizcaíno. And a fly ball to right center. Slicing Sosa will pick it off. The ball just started to slice a little bit. Otherwise, that's a gapper. And it drifted just enough for Sammy to catch up to it. A fine defensive play. So Vizcaíno is really hitting in tough luck. There's the catch by Sosa. Hundley had to come back to first. So an excellent play by Sammy. And with two down, here comes the Chief, Geronimo Baroa, to bat for Matt Herges. So Vizcaíno could have had a base hit, but lined into a double play with the bases loaded in the fourth inning. Now loses an extra base hit and an RBI on the leaping catch by Sosa. It is one of those maddening days in the life of a ball player. Bitter frustration. Baroa has done a good job coming off the bench, 3 for 9 as a pinch hitter. Right. Garibay is due to bat second when the Cubs hit in the sixth. So they might be thinking of hitting for him, which is why Williams is up. We'll see. 1-1. Two out, top of the sixth. Cubs 6, Dodgers 5. Ball 2. Glenn Allen Hill stretching his legs, getting ready. There's a bat just to his right. He might be getting ready to bat for Daniel Garibay. He'll need that. And Garibay now going 3-1. Two down thanks to that splendid running catch by Sammy Sosa. You always think of Sosa and home runs, but that was a big play. 3-1 to the Chief. Baroa. Foul ball. So the full count and 2 down. That's a little bit of an offensive edge. The Dodgers will have Hundley going on contact. Garibay is reminded of that by Joe Girardi. Zuleta not holding Hundley now. 3-2. There he goes. Big bouncer down to Gutierrez. So Garabay's out of the inning despite walking the leadoff man, but only because of what makes Sammy run. And at the end of 5.5, 6-5 Cubs. 6th inning. As far as the upcoming schedule in the National League, Cincinnati with a little 2-game winning streak will host Pittsburgh. San Diego's won 2 in a row. They're in Florida. The Marlins have lost 2 in a row. Arizona has lost 2 in a row, but Montreal has won 2 in a row. Then St. Louis will be in Philadelphia. The Cardinals have won 2 straight. Other games, Colorado will be at New York. The Mets have lost 6 out of 10. Colorado in 3rd place have won 4 straight. The Giants will be in Atlanta. And for San Francisco, they've started to slide back again. They've lost 4 in a row. And the Atlanta Braves have won 4 straight. So the hot and the cold there. And finally, Houston will be at Milwaukee. So they're well bundled up, Mom and her youngsters. That's a great sight, isn't it? Antonio Osuna working to Joe Girardi. On deck, Jose Nieves to bat for Garibay. Antonio coming off the DL. The Dodgers feel he is back in action. He's been in 3 games, has not allowed anything. Good breaking ball. 0-2. Girardi has walked twice. A catcher who is not known for his hitting, batting 8th in the lineup, and yet they've walked him twice and he's scored once. Ball 1. Dryford walked 3 and hit a batter. Burgess came in to bail him out, striking out Buford, and now Osuna. Little ground ball to short. Vizcaíno barehands it. Very close play. So Jose was playing so deep on Girardi, he knew he couldn't glove the ball and transfer it. He had to make one of those do or die plays. Bare hand, same motion, and that was close. Girardi hustling down the line, but they got him. Now Jose Nieves coming up. Good play by Viz. So Garibay did his job. He worked 2 innings. And here's Jose Nieves hitting .289. He has been a very successful pinch hitter. 4 for 12. Brian Williams was throwing in the bullpen, and he is up again. So Brian's getting ready to come into this one. Jose Nieves. He's from Venezuela. 2-0 the count. Nieves said that he was barely out of the crib when his dad started to talk baseball to him. The Venezuelan household had baseball magazines and stories strewn about for as far back as he can remember. All 3. His dad kept a radio on and listened to whatever baseball games he could. And when Jose was 5, he and his brother were enrolled in a baseball school. His dad always dreamed that Jose would be the next Luis Aparicio or Chico Carrasquel, right, or even Davy Concepcion. Three and 1 the count to Jose Nieves. He'll be 25 the middle of June. Fouled away. Interesting, too, for Nieves as he comes up. When he arrived, his dad talked to him, and his dad said, "What number did you get?" And Nieves said, "They gave me number 11. And his father went wild. He said, 11? That was Aparicio's number. Foul ball down the line. Nieves has been on the path to get here for a long time. He signed with the Milwaukee Brewers before his 17th birthday. He didn't make his own graduation because Milwaukee wanted him to play in the Dominican Republic. He's playing for his dad. 2 years ago, his father, who has had so much to do with his development, had a brain clot. He's all right now, and of course he's following Jose every way. Satellite dish TV. He can keep his eye on his pride and joy, Jose. 3 and 2 to 25-year-old Jose Nieves. Little fly ball into right center. Green has a leg on this one. So Nieves a fly ball, 2 down. Cubs lead 6-5, and the batter will be Eric Young. Young had a base hit to right field to drive in 2 runs in the 4th inning. EY 1 for 3 today. Last night 2 for 5. So he's 3 for 8 in the series. Dodgers look bunt. They pull up the corners. Foul ball. 0-1. Young, as always, extremely difficult to strike out. He's had over 180 plate appearances, and he has struck out 13 times. Interesting, you have an Eric Young who is tough to strike out. He is 2nd in the league to Orlando Cabrera of Montreal. And on the same team, you have Sammy Sosa, who is 2nd in striking out. Little pop fly, back a third, down the line, a trio of Dodgers, and it's going to be caught by Vizcaíno. Nice play. So Jose has put in a good day's work at short and with the bat. Doesn't have much to show for it, and it's 6-5 Cubs. Chicago, but the Cubs are leading the Dodgers 6-5 as we go to the 7th inning. And in the 7th inning, it'll be F.P. Santangelo against Brian Williams. So Williams will be the 4th pitcher to come out of the Cub bullpen. Downs, Van Poppel, Garibay, and Williams. So Garibay did well. He worked 2 innings, gave up a hit, but no runs. All 5 Dodger runs were against the starter, Scotty Downs. Santangelo grounded out twice, fly to center, 0 for 3. 2-0 the count. Girardi now out to talk to Williams, so timeout for the moment. Brian Williams was very fortunate not to be shipped out. Baylor admitted that he was very close to sending him out. The Cubs signed Williams as a free agent from Houston in the offseason. but he's turned things around a bit, pitched himself back into Baylor's good graces. The big thing is throwing strikes. Well, he's going to pitch himself right out of the good graces. He misses on the first 3. Williams has walked 19 and struck out 14. That's a strike. So in 22 innings, he's given up 27 hits and 19 walks. You can understand why they were thinking of sending him out. And if you don't understand, his ERA is almost 10. And he walked him. And for Baylor, all he can do is sit and watch. We can duck in the schedule, couple of scores. Texas trying to make it 3 in a row. Tampa's lost 4. Kansas City and Oakland 2-0 Oaks in the 4th. Detroit will be at Cleveland. Chicago and New York, the White Sox in first place have won 3 in a row. The Yankees have lost 5 in a row. Boston atop the heap will be in Toronto and Baltimore, Anaheim. Minnesota has lost 4 in a row. They're at Seattle. The Cub bullpen has basically been a disaster. With that walk to F.P. Santangelo, it means the bullpen has walked 95 men, and now here comes Acosta. They have done nothing but make a situation worse. They have had other relievers, Mark Guthrie, Matt Karshner, Andrew Lorraine, Ruben Quevedo, Danny Young. They've all been sent out. And Baylor on the phone to the bullpen again. The bullpen for Chicago has an ERA of 7.6. And as far as decisions are concerned, the bullpen is 6-10. So the Cubs have a pretty good hitting ball club. But their bullpen just hasn't done the job at all as skinny Felix Heredia begins to loosen up. And here's Grusolanic. Dodgers have gotten 4 walks so far, and they've scored 2 of the previous 3. Kyle Farnsworth, big right-hander, is going to throw in the pen. And now Williams, who walked Santangelo, is now behind 2-0 to Grusolanic. So things are desperate for the last place Cubs. 2-0. 3-0. So Brian Williams having a very tough time, but he does have a lot of company. Strike, 3-1. Williams is from South Carolina. Went to the University of South Carolina. He was an outfielder for Team USA during the '89 tour of Cuba and Latin America. Three and 1. Brian, in his career, first came up with Houston. Then he went to Detroit, Baltimore. Then he pitched in Fukuoka in Japan in '98. Ground ball to short. Gutierrez gets the feed, and they turn it. Double play. So EY turns a double play. F.P. Santangelo was all over him, and F.P. was still able to make the play. He wound up rolling out towards left field, and EY turned the double play. Second DP turn. Watch this. There is EY, and here comes Santangelo. So Sean Green, the batter, struck out, double, fly to center, 1 for 3. Dodgers lead 6-5, 7th inning. Dodgers were trailing last night 4-3 into the 8th. Turned it around to win 6-5. doubled to set up 2 runs in the 4th inning. Dodgers scored 5 in the top of the 4th, only to have the Cubs come back with 4. And then add 2 in the following inning to take the lead. No swing. And the count 3-0. Well, in this ballpark especially, they might green light Green 3-0 if he likes the location, a pitch he can drive. Nope, too low. Ball 4. So Brian Williams has walked 2. The double play has helped him. And the batter is Gary Sheffield. Sheffield flied to left, single to center, single to left. He's 2 for 3. Sean Green could pose a problem for Williams this late in the game. He's stolen 8 out of 9 this year. He can also do a very good job of distracting Williams, who's fighting his control anyway. 22 innings, 21 walks. Green, the tying run at first. 6-5 Cubs in the 7th. Dryford, Hurgis, and Osuna. Downs, Van Poppel, Garibay, and Williams. Boy, he's going to keep an eye on him, too. That's a strike. 0-1. When the Cubs come up in the bottom of this 7th, they have Gutierrez, Martinez, and Sosa. 0-1 to Sheffield, hitting .328. New ball put in play by Mike Everett. Well, the few little raindrops that we had have come and gone. The umbrellas have been folded up and put away. Green at first, 2 out, carrying the tying run. Whoa, did he have a rip at that? 1-2. That's about as hard as he can swing. So 1-2 to Gary Sheffield. Same 2 clubs tomorrow right here on Fox Sports Net 2, Chan Ho Park and John Lieber. Little ground ball to Gutierrez, quickly to Young. So no runs, no hits, a man left. And at the end of 6.5 innings, Sammy's coming up. It's 6-5 Cubs. For 1 hit. Ricky Gutierrez, Dave Martinez, and Sammy Sosa. Interesting at first. Watch. F.P. Santangelo gets back to the bag, and John Shelby is clocking the pitcher's throw to first. They get an idea of just how quickly the pitcher will come over to the bag with his best shot. But now the Dodgers are at the other end defensively. Fly ball to straightaway center. Santangelo. 1 away. Dryford for 4 1/3. Hurgis got 2 outs in the 5th inning, 1 on the base paths. Osuna got him out in the 6th, so he's working his 2nd inning. Gray, somber day in Chicago. Dave Martinez struck out, then singled and got as far as third in the 4th inning, tripled, and came home to score the tying run in the 5th. Oh, yes, those big eyes for Daddy. Right. And after Martinez tripled and Sosa picked him up with a ground ball, Willie Green hit a home run to put the Cubs in front, and that's it. Sosa's on deck. That bounced up and got a little bit of the umpire, Mike Everett. He didn't flinch, so he took that in the mask. That's hard. You ever wear a mask? You ever try? Oh. Good night. See you later. And check the paper tomorrow for the final score. Do you ever wear a mask? Do you ever try to catch or umpire? Boy, the first thing you have to learn is not to flinch, turn your head, or duck. Take it right in the iron. It's hard to do. Two and one to count. At least the catcher has a glove. Osuna now 3-1 to Martinez. How's your world look from there? Pretty good, I hope. Three and one to Dave. That's a strike. 3-2. Antonio Osuna. Dodgers can really use him with Fetters and Olsen down. Little ground ball to third. Beltry sets for the throw and takes care of it. So 2 down, 6-5 Cubs, and the batter is Sammy Sosa. Sosa with 2 singles, grounded out, drove in the tying run when he grounded out, and just as importantly, if not more so, it is Sosa's glove that figures prominently in this game. On a ball hit by Vizcaino in the 6th inning with Hundley aboard and 1 out. If Sammy doesn't catch it, Hundley probably scored. Instead, Sammy made a running, leaping, one-hand spearing catch of the ball hit by Vizcaino. Huge play. And he slices one, but it's coming to Green. So they're gone in order. Nice 2 innings turned in by Antonio Osuna. And at the end of 7, it's still 6-5 Cubs. 6-5 Cubs, top of the 8th. You know, for a unique group outing, book your next group event at Dodger Stadium. You receive lots of exclusive benefits, and every member of your group will be eligible to win a trip on Princess Cruises. For more information, call 323-224-1-HIT. Eric Karras, Adrian Beltre, and Todd Hundley against Kyle Farnsworth, the 5th Chicago pitcher. Farnsworth pitched the 9th inning last night and got the Dodgers out 1-2-3. Ball 1. Farnsworth is another reliever who has had a lot of trouble and was close to being sent out. Farnsworth, 6'4", 215, 24 years old. Look out. Did he get Karras or did he get the bat? He got the bat. So the scoreboard shows 3-0. I think he got a piece of it. No, maybe not. That sound we heard was Girardi's mitt touching the ball. So 3-0 the count. Farnsworth, when they sent Andrew Lorraine out, was having a terrible time. He had the worst on-base percentage allowed, the worst batting average allowed. Slugging percentage against him was horrific. And now he walks Karras. So that's what Williams did. He came in and walked the first man he faced, but he was fortunate. He got Grusolanic, but for Baylor, it just gets tougher every day. Farnsworth's earned run average is 8.5. And the opposition is batting .341 against him. That's a strike. 0-1. Farnsworth has been a starter in his young career. They thought they would give him a chance as a closer, but he gave up 2 runs and 3 hits in the third of an inning. And the Cubs blew a game they should have won 11-9. One thing he does, they say, he throws too many fastballs. That's popped up. Back of first, coming over is EY. In foul ground. So Beltry fouls out to Young. 1 down, and the batter will be Hundley, who'll turn around to bat left-handed. Farnsworth has been clocked at 96 and 97 miles an hour. But the problem is he just keeps throwing the same pitch at the same speed, and the big league hitters catch up to him. So Bale has been trying to get him to change speeds. Hundley flied to right, walked and scored a run, and hit into a force play. One out, 8th inning. 6-5 Chicago. That's a strike. In last night's game, they were not paying attention to Karras in the first inning following the home run by Green. Eric singled and promptly stole second. He stole that against the veteran, too, Kevin Tapani. 0-1. That's a strike. So Farnsworth 0-2 the count to Hundley. Farnsworth, coming into this game in 40 innings, had given up 58 hits and 26 walks. I mean, he's been pitching out of a stretch since the anthem, holding a splitter, but we'll see what develops. 0-2. Fastball. Two-seamer, trying to make it sink. So another young Cub pitcher, Kyle Farnsworth. Jeff Shaw does that a lot. Turn that ball around and around. Fouled away. .6-5 Chicago in the 8th. Hundley hitting .297 at the plate. Karras at first, 1 out. If the Dodgers get down to Osuna, they might be thinking hitters, so they're kind of moving around in the pen, and Alan Mills gets up. The paid attendance today, or at least tickets sold, 30,235. Had it been a beautiful day, probably had another 3,000 at least. 0-2. Ball 1. Nice save by Girardi. Dave Hansen always at the ready, waiting to get a call, maybe to bat for Osuna. Dodgers have used one pinch hitter, Geronimo Baroa, and they still have Hollinsworth among others. Two and two, the count to Hundley. Farnsworth, as we said, throws hard, but he has trouble throwing strikes. He has struck out 33 in 40 innings. 2-2. popped in the air. It was lost by Girardi. Now coming down is Willie Green and an ice cream cone. He almost dropped it. Girardi lost sight of the ball, and Green just kept coming to bail him out. But boy, there was a lot of white baseball sticking up in Willie's glove. 2 down. Take another look. He catches it, but there's some spin on it. There it is, sitting. He finally let it get back into the pocket. So Jose Vizcaino coming up. Nice play by Green to bail out Girardi. On deck is Dave Hansen, but it'll be up to Vizcaino. And now some more rain. Fly ball down the line. Martinez coming over. No play, and it is raining. In fact, it's probably raining a little bit harder now than at any time today. Out comes the foul weather gear. Most of the folks paying attention to weather, we knew it's going to be in and out showers all day. 0-1 to Vizcaino. Kyle Farnsworth working on Vizcaino. Kyle, a big kid out of Wichita, Kansas. Although he was born in Kansas, Farnsworth was raised in Georgia. 1-1. Ball 2, 2-1. Is trying to dry the bat off. Farnsworth, meanwhile, is trying to dry his hand off so he can get a better grip. 2-1. Popped in the air, foul off third and out of play amongst the umbrellas of Sherbrooke. 2-2. Led off with a walk. He's still at first. 2 out later. Vizcaino the hitter, and on deck Dave Hansen. Vizcaino struck out, then lined into a double play with the bases loaded and hit what looked like an extra base hit, only to have Sosa make a huge play. Sammy took what might have been the tying run away from the Dodgers when he speared that drive by Vizcaino back in the 6th. 2-2. And Karras took a big lead. Had Farnsworth looked over, he could have picked Karras off, and John Shelby goes over and said, wait a minute, you're the tying run, be careful, watch this. I mean, he really commits, and he's stuck, and Farnsworth was committed to pitch, but he knew he was too far off the bag. All right, now 3-2 with 2 out. He can go. There he goes. And there's a fly ball into center. Buford's going to get his face wet, looking up in the rain, and that's that. No runs, no hits, a man left, and at the end of 7.5, 6-5, Chicago. Darren Dreifert, who saw a 5-0 lead disappear, now sees the Cubs lead 6-5, and the man who broke the tie is at the plate, Willie Green. He had fouled out and flied to center, and then Green homered in the 5th inning to give the Cubs the lead. 2-0. Ball 3. Dreifert went 4 1/3 innings and gave up all 6 runs and all 7 hits. Osuna asked to pitch 3 innings today. That's a strike. Antonio breezed through the 6th and 7th, retiring 6 in a row. Matt Hurgis came in, struck out Buford to end the 5th. So Dreifert absorbed all the damage. Driver did not work that hard in the sense he made 83 pitches. But I think it was the double and the slide as he took third on Sosa's error that just took everything out of him. And he went out to the mound in the 4th inning and gave up 4, gave up 2 more in the 5th, and had to come out. Well, the Cubs are holding on to a 6-5 lead, bottom of the 8th. And there's ball 4 to Green. When the Dodgers come up in the 9th inning, it'll be a hitter for Osuna, maybe Dave Hansen, then Santangelo, or maybe Todd Hollinsworth, and then Grusolanic. So Grusolanic is the one guy who figures to hit, and if anybody gets on, Sean Green. Willie Green has not been involved in a stolen base. The so-called closer, he's been called a lot of things here in Chicago, Rick Aguilera, who has had a terrible time closing, but he's getting ready. Green at first, nobody out in the 8th, 6-5 Chicago. Good fastball, he just threw that by Zuleta. Julio struck out, grounded to third, single, and Osuna trying to get him with Buford on deck. Foul down the line, slicing away into the crowd. 0-2. Zuleta looks like the helmet doesn't fit him. Julio's helmet really sits up, it seems, on top of his head. Of course, he's a big fella anyway, but it seems like he has a tall helmet, a high hat. 0-2. In the rain in Wrigley, light rain. One and two. It is wet and slippery here on that last pitch. Watch Osuna. Splits. Drops to his knee. Very hard to get traction. On the hands, fouled away. Checked to see if he cracked it. Apparently he didn't. Yeah, that's a high hat. So the big guy from Panama, Julio Zuleta. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Foul back. We get a report in the truck. Steve Elkin said, well, it's a Panama hat. Not the one we've ever seen before, but it sure does sit up on his head. New supply of balls are also cleaning off home plate. So it has not been a very nice day, but now it's turning more than soft. It's wet and dismal. 1-2 to Zuleta. Foul back. Yeah, you have to stay dry somehow for the moment. Well, he's all right, and so is she. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Zuleta keeps fouling them off. And that's a foul ball. Alan Mills will get up in the Dodger bullpen again because Osuna has pitched very well, but he's also now making a lot of pitches. So Mills, who picked up the victory in last night's game, since they're going to bat for Osuna, they get him ready. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, 6-5 Chicago in a light rain. It's always a light rain if you're broadcasting inside a covered booth. Foul back. So Zuleta making Osuna work and work some more. And the count stays 1-2. Willie Green, who walked and whose home run in the 5th inning is the difference. Got him finally. So Zuleta strikes out. Green holding, and with 1 out, the batter will be Damon Buford. For Osuna, his first strikeout. Yeah, make sure that little darling is wrapped up. Bottom of the 8th inning. 6-5. And as usual, Dad's on the phone, and she's tasting the rain. Sir Hart. They're great. Davy Johnson is not only tasting the rain. From the looks of things, he's going to go to the pen and bring in Alan Mills. That was asking a lot of Osuna, and Zuleta really took him out by fouling off all those pitches. So Osuna goes 2 1/3, does very well, and we'll be back. Split. So they're going to bring some stuff up around the batter's box. Yep. Let's see if they do anything to the mound, or are they just worrying about the hitter? It has rained just enough. You've heard of footprints in the sands of time. Well, we have footprints in the grass. Look at them from home plate, a constant parade out to the mound, and it's a no man's land out there. So timeout, 6-5 in favor of the Cubs. Alan Mills with a tongue depressor trying to clean his spikes. Darren Drivert, the key play for him. He had a double into right center field when Sosa drops the ball for an error. Driver then takes third, and this turns out to be the big play. When he slid, staggered, he was exhausted. He went out to the mound, leading 5-0. Walked 2, hit a batter, gave up 3 singles. That made it 5-4 in favor of the Dodgers. And then Martinez tripled and scored on a ground ball. Willie Green hit a home run, and it was 6-5 Cubs in the 5th inning, and it has stayed that way. And here we are, bottom of the 8th. Green at first with 1 out. Glenn Allen Hill perhaps will make an appearance if called upon to hit for Farnsworth. And Alan Mills, who won last night's game, trying to get some outs here with Buford and then Girardi. We also understand this little rain will move out. There's a bouncer down to Grassolonic, the shovel to Viz, and back to Cows. So 1 pitch, and Mills gets a double play, and the inning is over. There'll be a hitter for Mills, a hitter for Santangelo, and Grassolonic in the 9th inning. A reminder, don't miss the National Sports Report tonight at 10 for highlights of all of today's sports action. The National Sports Report tonight at 10 and at midnight. Well, is it going to be midnight for the Dodgers? They're down 6-5 in the 9th inning, and Rick Aguilera, who has been anything but a closer, is coming in. Aguilera really struggling. In his last 7 outings, he's allowed 9 runs, 11 hits, and 8 walks, all in 4 2/3 of an inning. Though his record 1-1, but an ERA out of sight, 7. Interesting what has happened with the grounds crew here. Because of the rain, things were slippery, especially for Osuna, right? Down he goes. But the Cubs were batting in the bottom of the 8th. What did they take care of? While the Dodgers were still pitching, they took care of the batter's box. Then, when Aguilera came in, they immediately take care of the mound. So the Dodgers, no doubt, feeling that this is a prime example of Midwestern imperialism. And Aguilera, who once pitched for Davy Johnson way back on the 1986 championship Mets team. He was 1-0 in 2 games in the World Series against the Red Sox. Rick has been around, 38, born in San Gabriel and lives in Del Mar. After spending a few years with the Mets, he went over to Minnesota, and he was with Minnesota from 89 through 99. And the first man he'll face is Dave Hansen, batting for Alan Mills. So Hansen, the #1 pinch hitter, 4 for 10 as a pinch hitter. Todd Hollandsworth is on deck. Ball 1. Well, Hansen trying to get something started. With all of his other problems, Aguilera has also given up 3 home runs. That's a strike. 1-1. He's had a very long and very successful career, but he's been staggering here in Chicago this year. That missed. 2-1. Down in the Dodger dugout, Mark Grusolanic getting ready to make an appearance, sitting next to Rick Downs. 2-1. 2-2. The last time we had a scoreless effort by the Cubs bullpen, and they have not allowed a run today, was May the 5th. Messrs. Van Poppel, Garibay, Williams, and Farnsworth have not allowed a run. But now the big thing for Baylor is, will he get a close from Aguilera? Fouled away. Well, Aguilera has certainly been through the wars. His fastball may be in the high 80s. He throws a forkball and an occasional slider. He has to have great control, otherwise he gets clobbered, and that's what's happened to him. But he was 9-4 last year. And a drive to right. Sosa going back to the track at the wall. Gone. Aguilera has done it again. He comes in, gives up the home run, and the Dodgers have tied it up. I'll bet you, Don. Well, you bet. You fill in the gaps. What do you think Baylor thinks as Hansen comes off the bench and hits it out? For Dave Hansen, that's his second pinch hit home run. He hit one against Montreal. So fastball right down the middle at the knees. That was a BP fastball, a batting practice pitch. Sosa made believe he could catch it, but it wasn't even close. So Davey gets the Dodgers even. And the batter now is Todd Hollinsworth. Ball 1. Boy, it's a nightmare for Baylor. Somebody would do him a favor and cut the line to the bullpen. In the Dodger bullpen, Terry Adams, Felix Heredia, the left-hander, in the Cub pen. 1-1. Aguilera last year allowed 8 home runs. He has allowed 4 home runs in 15 innings this year. And, you know, these are the expensive pitchers. He gets like $4.5 million. If he can believe it. Now back right into Girardi's mass. That staggered him. 1-2. For the Dodgers and Dave Hansen, an interesting moment. The reason Rick Aguilera is the closer for the Cubs is the fact they traded away Terry Adams to the Dodgers. 2-2 to Hollinsworth. We're tied up 6-6. It'll be the bottom of the order that Terry Adams will face when he comes in. That would be Girardi, a hitter for Aguilera, and Young. 2-2 to Hollinsworth. Fouled away. So the Dodgers trailing ever since the 5th inning. Kept leaving one man on in every inning. And now it's Dave Hansen, who hits his second pinch hit home run of the year, and they're even 6-6. So Dreifert is off the hook. No win, but just as important, no loss. Time. Collinsworth hitting .253, 4 home runs, 29 runs batted in, 1 for 8 as a pinch hitter. Fly ball to right field. This one is playable. 1 out. Canho Park pitches tomorrow against John Lieber, and then the Dodgers will leave Chicago and head for Florida. So Mark Grusolani, 0 for 3 with a walk, scored a run. With 1 out and on deck, Shawn Green in a 6-6 tie. Foul ball, 0-1. So Davey Johnson and Rick Aguilera could have a lot to talk about and reminisce about 1986, that golden year for the New York Mets, for Davey and for Rick. It was a long time ago. And now Johnson is again benefiting from Aguilera, but this time because of Aguilera's poor performance. And the sun is starting to come out, burn off the mist, and things have brightened up considerably. 0-1. Grusolani hitting .269. Dodgers, with that home run by Hansen, have now hit 64 home runs in 38 games. That's a strike. And for a home run here, there have now been 73 home runs hit at Wrigley Field this year. 1-2 the count. So Dave Hansen in a hero's role. A home run to perhaps save the bacon. Dave played for the Cubs back in 1997. Fouled away. In fact, when Hansen played here, he hit .311. He had 3 home runs, 21 RBIs, and then went to play in Japan for a year, and then came back to the Dodgers. So it's been a day to torment the Cubs, and we're all tied 6-6. Two and two. Downs, Van Poppel, Garibay, Williams, and Farnsworth, nothing to do with it. Dreifert, Burgess, Osuna, and Mills, with Adams in the wings. 2-2 to Grusolani. Ball 3. So Dreifert had that 5-run top of the 4th, couldn't hold it, but he's hanging tough. That's hit down the line, slicing foul back into the crowd. So it's been a nightmare for Aguilera. Last 8 outings, including today, 10 runs, 12 hits, 8 walks in 5 innings. He has blown 3 saves, and of course this would be a blown save today. Interesting, he was the one who picked up the save in the Cubs' historic open in Tokyo against his old club, the Mets. 3-2 to Grusolani. 1 out, tied at 6, top of the 9th. A drive to right center and deep. Sosa on the track and now on the grass. 2 down. Now Baylor wants to make sure, and I think he'll bring in Felix Heredia and make a 2-for-1 switch here with Shawn Green coming up. There was no reason to have the left-hander in the pen unless he intended to bring him in. And he is coming in. So Felix Heredia coming in. A bitterly disappointed Rick Aguilera going out. Glenn Allen Hill is going in, and we'll be back. The crusher and the crushee. Dave Hansen on the left, Rick Aguilera on the right, and now Sean Green facing Felix Heredia. Ball one. Couple of moves for Chicago. Heredia comes in and will bat sixth. Dave Martinez, who was in left field, takes over at first base. Big curveball for a strike. Glenn Allen Hill will go into left field. So if you're keeping score, put Hill in the ninth spot, which means he bats second when the Cubs hit in the bottom of the ninth. Heredia goes in Zoletta's spot. Fastball. The big curve, then the fastball, 1-2. Heredia 1-0. But he's had a lot of problems. His earned run average is over 6. One thing for Don Baylor, if this game goes into extra innings, he has used up all of his relievers. Van Poppel, Garibay, Williams, Farnsworth, Aguilera, and Heredia. The only people left are starting pitchers: Valdez, Tapani, Wood, and Lieber. So the cupboard is bare down there. Meanwhile, Heredia, nibbling after getting 2 strikes, has gone 3-2. And Baylor brought him in to get Green. On deck, Gary Sheffield. 3-2. Ball 4. Boy, that was close. So he didn't get his man, and we'll see how important that is. A 2-out walk to Green. Just ran away, and he was just able to hold back. So Green at first with 2 out. Gary Sheffield will be coming up. Sheffield has had 5 hits in the 2 games, 2 today, and Gary is 2 for 4. To repeat, when the Cubs come up in the bottom of the ninth, Joe Girardi, Glenn Allen Hill, and Eric Young. Or, if they wanted to hit for Girardi, they have the left-hand hitting Jeff Reed, the backup catcher. Here's Sheffield. In the Dodger bullpen, Terry Adams was throwing. But now Jeff Shaw will begin to throw. Heredia has allowed 2 home runs in 19 previous innings. Green, who has stolen 8 out of 9, always a threat over there at first base. Foul back, out of play. Coming after it is Girardi, but it's doubtful. It's on the other side. Girardi banging at that brick wall to clean off his spikes, trying to get a little traction. It is really soupy down there around the home plate and on the mound. We had a light rain that delayed the start of the game 23 minutes, but we have not had any interruption of play. 1-1 to count. 2 out, 6-6 in the ninth. Ball 2. A pinch hit home run by Dave Hansen has tied up the game. Two and 1 to Gary. You wonder about the base runner now. I would think this is a very slow track out there. The spikes fill up. very slick and treacherous, so it might not be a spot to run Green, but we'll see. 2-1 to Sheffield. Nice save by Girardi. So Heredia comes in to get Green, but he walks him. And now he's behind 3-1 to Sheffield. After Aguilera, who has had a terrible time, came in to close and gave up the game-tying home run to the first man he faced, Dave Hansen. Three and 1 to Sheffield. Ball 4. So the bullpen has just driven Baylor to distraction. He brings in Aguilera, who immediately gives up a game-tying home run. He brings in Heredia to pitch to Green, and he walks him. Then he walks Sheffield. Now a go-ahead run is at second, and the batter is Eric Karras, who has doubled and walked. If ever a ball club could point to one area as to why they're in last place, why they're 8.5 games back, it would be the Chicago bullpen. So here is Karras. Eric 1 for 3, has hit in 11 straight. Right. 30,235, many of whom have gone home. Been a long day in the ballpark and getting close to supper time here in Chicago. Foul back and off to the right. 0-2. Two on, 2 out, 6-6 in the ninth. 0-2 the count to Eric Karras. On deck, Adrian Beltre. Breaking ball, and a good one. So the battle is joined here. Eric Karras fighting Felix Heredia. Fastball fouled away. Cubs tried Heredia as a setup man last year, but it failed. He wore down in June, lost his control. He's maybe 180 pounds. He doesn't look that big. 23 years old. He'll be 24 in June. Fastball clocked around 90. A big slider. Right-handers have given him a bad time in the past. Fastball is going to be hit into center. And here comes Green. And the Dodgers are going to take a 7-6 lead at the expense of the Cub bullpen. An 0-2 pitch, just to really make life miserable for Don Baylor. Boy, this crowd is sullen and mutinous, to say the least. So Heredia comes in, walks 2, gives up a hit. Green scores, and the Dodgers lead 7-6. Of course, the killer for Baylor, Heredia was his last man, and he thought he could play the trump card. He could bring in Heredia to get Green, and the inning is over. But under the heading of the best laid plans of mice and men, write in the name Don Baylor, because Heredia proceeded to walk Green. Then, for good measure, he walked Sheffield. And then 0-2 to Karras, and Eric gets a base hit. Then again, for somebody who survived a few years managing in Colorado, I guess he can take it. 0-1 to Beltre. Dave Hansen keeping a glove, so it looks like he's going to come into the game after the pinch hit home run to get the Dodgers even. Karras with his second hit to drive in the go-ahead run. Foul tip the fastball. 0-2. 1-2 to Adrian Beltre. Beltre 1 for 3 with a walk. Jeff Shaw had been throwing in the pen. Obviously now will be asked to close it. And remember, Alan Mills, for the second day in a row, is the pitcher of record. He could win another one. And there's a base hit. Here comes Sheffield to the plate. The throw is cut off. And they have Karras hung up, and he will run into the tag. The inning is over.